Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of VCTV with your host, Kyle Ellicott. Guess what? We're going to be talking today about investing in impact, social, and alternative energy. These are three very important categories that all blend together, but also individually are something we all need to be paying attention to. And many investors are more now than ever here in 2021 as we are seeing billions, no longer tens or single millions. We're seeing billions of dollars in funds put together to focus and invest in these industries. And I'm joined by some of the greatest around the VCTV family to share their thoughts and insights of what they're seeing around the world investing in each of these areas and others alike as well. Big thank you to LaToken team, to Hasmik and Maria for making today's episode possible as always. And Vandana, why don't you kick us off with a short introduction and background for everybody?
Yeah, so first of all, Kyle, thank you for having me here. It's a great pleasure. I like to be on LaToken VCTV because it helps me connect globally to lots of people all over the globe who have great insights on all kinds of different topics that we discuss. It's a great platform to be here. Introducing myself, I was in Singapore and Jakarta for 15 years in investment banking. I had my own family office fund there. I came back to India. That is when Convanto was founded. And today, Convanto is one of the most well-known boutique investment banks led by a female founder. I'm a venture advisor with Loyal VC and a partner with GSD Venture Studios. I'm also selected as one of the top 10 women leaders in Wealth Management 2021. My brand comes under the top 10 women entrepreneur brands in India. My expert opinion is sought in leading business news channels like VCTV and Business World. I've given 160 plus talks all over the world. We are sector agnostic. Typically, we do $1 million to $50 million. And once again, thank you for having me here.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Mr. Fowler, Grandmaster of Artificial Intelligence himself. A little intro, a little background.
Yeah, great to be here, Kyle. My name's Gary Fowler, and I'm a serial entrepreneur and investor. I've been involved in 17 companies. I was on the original management team at Click Software, sold it for Salesforce for $1.35 billion, and also Yva.ai, an AI/HR tech company. I'm the president, co-founder, and CEO of GSD Get Shit Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in Silicon Valley. I've written 163 articles. In fact, Kyle, my presentation at the United Nations on October 1st is about technology as a tool for peace and to be able to solve the problems that we have from global warming, population increases. I just got off out of a meeting about challenges with water in India. So a lot of opportunities for companies. And again, data is all around us. We're in a state of infobesity. We love companies that are in AI, quantum, cybersecurity, companies that are going to make a dent in the universe. Great to be here today, Kyle. Great to see some familiar faces. My buddy Raghu and Vandana and the rest of the VCTV team.
Absolutely. Speaking of Raghu, coming up to you next. A little intro, a little background for everybody, please.
Great to be here, Kyle and others. So I'm a serial entrepreneur, investor, and advisor from Princeton, New Jersey. I focus on early stage de-risked impact investments. De-risked in the sense that there's market traction, that there's a MVP that is already there. I think this area of the focus on the impact investments is very, very important now. That I think pandemic has very clearly shown that how technology can make a difference, and provided there is awareness. And I think we need something like a pandemic to wake us up to what technology can do. And so that's one good aspect, among all the other bad things that happened because of the pandemic. So look forward to the discussion.
Absolutely. And Gary, let's start with you. I mean, you wrote this paper and you have this talk upcoming with the UN and talking about water, the climate crisis in general, and how technology and data can solve this. Give us a picture of how data is helping to kind of curb climate change in certain ways, if possible.
Well, it's interesting, Kyle, because over the last 2 years through this pandemic, and I know in the beginning when we first met on VCTV, Zoom provided a great venue for us to be able to connect, and now StreamYard, et cetera. But it's about the data. I mean, people. I remember in the early '90s, I did a project with Dr. Irving Crick. Dr. Irving Crick did a nonlinear long-range weather forecasting model. He'd actually studied under. He was 82 or 83 when I met him, but he had studied under Albert Einstein when he was a visiting professor at Caltech. I remember going through the model and he was talking about global warming. I mean, the one thing we need is we need the data, and this really backs it up now. We've got some, the average temperatures around the world could be up as high as 8.6 degrees by the end of this century, 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a lot. And look at the polar ice caps, look at the Gulf Stream slowing down. You know, we have a lot of data we need to collect, and we need to course correct. It's not about, you know, before people were saying they don't believe in global warming, they don't believe in the population that's going to increase from 8 billion to 13 billion, but it's here, Kyle, and it's in front of us. I was listening to Elon Musk last night. Elon Musk was in front of a group of hydrocarbon oil and gas companies, and he basically said it's not if we're not going to have to go to alternative fuel, it's about when. And so I feel confident that we can bind together, but data is key because we need to understand what we have in front of us, how to course correct, and have an unsupervised and semi-supervised AI that can help us make some very intelligent decisions, how to be able to grow crops better because we understand how to optimize the field, how to be able to get our supply chain worked out so we don't have to worry about the kind of shortages that we've seen throughout this pandemic, and also how to do drug discovery better so that we don't have to use bench time, that we can use AI models. And the good news is it's forced us to be able to move forward as civilization, but times are changing and the democratization of the opportunities is in front of us. Remember, Kyle, intellectual capacity is evenly spread, but opportunities aren't. We need to go out through and give everybody a fair chance, and we need to work together as a world to be able to conquer these obstacles in front of us. And I'm sure that we can do it, but we need to bind together. It's not about, Mother Teresa said, it's not about stopping war, it's about pro-peace. We need to figure out how to work together.
And speaking of opportunity, Raghu, I want to come down to you next. Where are the opportunities that you're looking at as an investor right now, having a few different initiatives and conversations around these three areas, you know, alternative energy, again, social and impact? Where are those investment opportunities that you're starting to see arise that people need to be aware of and paying attention to?
Yes, I think in the energy space, I think there's two areas: energy storage and energy efficiency. Energy storage, obviously, you know, storage is most important for us to be able to make it sustainable. I mean, we just had a tornado touchdown here last week, and even though I have a solar generator, if it's a grid tie system without a backup, everything failed. So it's very, very important to have the storage so that the alternative green energies can fit into the overall grid. And so the smart grid area, I think there's a lot of opportunity there. Related to that is critical infrastructure protection, the cybersecurity aspect of that. I think that those are smart homes is another area, including being able to provide AI-based assistance within the homes for energy efficiency as well as safety, right? So I think that is from the energy side. But I'm also, in the biotech space. I think the very large, things that we're dealing with is things like diabetes, obesity, cancer, and of course the diagnostic space because of COVID that's come to the fore. But diagnostics is a area where there is a lot of opportunity. For instance, allergy diagnostics is it's kind of 50, 60 years back technology where they still, each allergen they have to kind of test individually, whereas there should be a way to test in a kind of suite of allergies, right? So those are areas. The other area that from a impact perspective is waste management, just kind of the whole circular economy thing, plastic replacement, and also how can we process the recycling better. So I think these are all areas with a lot of opportunity.
A lot of opportunity, and I want to drill back down real quick on security. Where are we not focused from a security perspective on those areas? Because while you mentioned a lot, I mean, from smart home to alternative energy to smart grids and even into the biomedical sector, there's a lot of opportunity for data leakage, for potential security issues. Where are we not currently focusing on that needs a lot more attention when it comes to cybersecurity in those areas?
I think it's very simple. In my opinion, there is a lot of data being created, but not a lot of it is used. Only like a portion of it, much of the data is created and then just left there. Some of it needs to be, used very occasionally. So we just need to remove the clutter and put it away. You may still need it, but it's kind of like the storage that you do where you keep your home free of clutter, right? Similar aspect, but the size of data, it is expanding so much. So if there is a solution where we can securely kind of retire the data, put it away, and you know that you can need it, and if you don't need it, you can eventually get rid of it. That will remove like 70 to 80% of the data that people are kind of drowning in. So that is, I think, and cybersecurity, we want to be sure that that data is protected. That's one side of it. The other side is all these breaches that are happening, right? Ransomware type thing where you get locked out of your own data. So those, I think, one side it is data in use and data in production, how we secure and keep them going, which is vital to day-to-day stuff. And then there's this whole clutter that is kind of keeping us very inefficient and not even knowing what we don't know in terms of what we have, right?
And Gary's mentioned that many of times, right? We're all inundated with infobesity. With so much data, we don't know where it is, what it is, or what's in front of us in some cases as well. And Vandana, I want to come to you next and kind of get your perspective as well. I mean, from Southeast Asia through India and all over the world, where you make all these investments that we've spoken about here on VCTV and work with so many around the world in investing in these areas. Paint us a picture as what you're seeing kind of opening up and looking forward in the next couple of years here as we start to see these areas continue to see increased activity around investment.
Yeah, so there is definitely a need for these sustainable investments, which can help in reducing our carbon footprint and carbon emissions and reducing the adverse environmental impact. In India, almost 90% of the energy is derived from burning coal, biomass, waste, and petrol and other fuels, and only 10% of it's renewable, which is extremely low. This impact can, be made affordable if there is greater investments by VC and investors in biofuels, in clean, green, and renewable energy like solar, wind, or any other energy efficient sources. Recycling of plastics and other waste are also important sectors where one can invest for, environmental impact. So, this is one aspect. And the other aspect is we also need to realize that there are actual, financial benefits that can be achieved through investments that help in achieving gender equality. So I think that is also one area. There can be various ways of impact investments for women empowerment. There can be micro loans and micro saving services for women that could help boost more women entrepreneurs. Funds which exclusively cater to women or have women as the majority of their clientele. So I think these were the two aspects that I think are very important, and they should be looked into by investors.
Thank you, Vandana. Gary, I want to come back down to you. I mean, pulling artificial intelligence into this, where are those areas of opportunity specifically that you as an investor want everyone to be aware of, that they should be focused on right now, kind of leading into this talk that you'll be giving on October 1st with the UN? And then I want to come around for one more question for everybody, but Gary.
So I mean, look at some of the challenges we have in front of us. By 2050, we're going to have to double the food supply on the planet to be able to feed the population. And we can't double the amount of farm animals because 26% of the pollution today is caused by farm animals. So we need to go down through and to be able to optimize our farms, the farming 4.0, the Internet of Things. We need to create some really streamlined supply chains. from the farm to the table. We need to have better insights on exactly, as I said, what's happening from an impact standpoint with our oceans, with our water supplies, with the Gulf Stream, with sensors, with sonar buoys, with all kinds of different technologies that they're deploying today. And then we got to make some critical decisions. So what, as I've said, there's 49 zettabytes of data on the planet. We got a whole lot of data out there we need to analyze. We need to have unsupervised and semi-supervised AI to be able to help us. We need to be able to democratize the opportunity. It shouldn't be that people are starving around the world, where other people are sitting on their yachts and having, well-heeled dinners. We need to figure out how to equalize it. I'm not saying taking money away from the rich. I'm saying giving everybody an equal opportunity so they can feed their families by work, by creating startups. And Kyle, we put our money where our mouth is. We work in Africa. We work in India. We work in Latin America. We work with companies to be able to help them go global. And the reason is, if they can feed their families, it surely makes the world a better place. And I just had the discussion last week of the UN about that. And I'll send over my draft copy of my article. People can look at it. But it's the time is now. We can't wait any longer. It's not about dreaming. It's not about wishing. It's about getting shit done.
Absolutely. GSD, ladies and gentlemen, get shit done, as Gary Fowler said. Vandana, coming to you, closing thoughts. Where do you see things opening up when it comes to not just Southeast Asia, but globally? Again, if you're choosing a focus area or helping an entrepreneur to choose how to start building in this industry, what advice would you give to them? And then where can everyone find you online?
So, the first and very most important thing that I tell the entrepreneurs is, have a proper pitch deck, have a video pitch deck, have a business plan, have your financial models and valuations in order. There's very important to have a CFO and advisor on your team, having the right relationships with the investment bankers who have the right kind of relationships with the investors gives you a better reach to investors. And the sectors that currently I am looking in are health tech, AI, robotics, IoT, definitely, fintech, edtech, food tech. These are some of the sectors that I'm looking at. E-commerce also is one of the sectors that I'm looking at. So feel free to reach out to me on my LinkedIn handle or my website, www.convanto.com.
Wonderful. Thank you. Raghu, same question. In your closing thoughts, where are those opportunities that you want to tell investors, but also founders to start building in, and where can everyone find you online as well?
Sure. I think my best place to reach me is on LinkedIn at Raghu S. Rao. I think there is a lot of opportunity in the plant-based, everything, plant-based food, plant-based, whatever, cosmetics. The idea is, as Gary mentioned, I think to reduce the impact from farm animals on the environment, right? So the more of the plant-based stuff, I think the better. That's one area. Other areas, of course, cybersecurity and protection. The third is, in terms of waste management, and storage, energy storage. In terms of waste management, I think it is very, very critical to make sure that, we all recycle, and think that it's being taken care of. But we have to really look at, how much of that is actually, processed back and used. Maybe one time, 2 times, we have to reduce the impact. It's not enough just kind of putting the burden purely on the recycling side, right? So, and then of course, the last part is about the wellness. So the more you can focus on wellness and also reduce the healthcare costs and some of these very large, expensive things like, diabetes and cancer, which are affecting large portions of the population. So part of that is also working on reducing, so a lot of these are connected, as we all know. So how can we work on kind of improving the lifestyles for everybody, whether it's from our lifestyle, how it is impacting the environment, as well as how can we be more fit so that we don't fall sick and get into these expensive things, treatments.
Thank you very much, Raghu. Agreed around the table. Gary Fowler, where can everyone find you and GSDV to connect and speak further?
You can check me out on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. Check me out on VCTV on the Founders Report or my show, GSD Presents Silicon Valley AI and Tech. Happy to hear from startups. Happy to hear from investors. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy. Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful closing thoughts, Vandana, Raghu, Gary. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and insights today. To our audience, thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you click like, share, and subscribe on today's episode. Also, do reach out to each and every one of our investors. We'd all love to hear from you. Please add context when you do, where you heard us, where you met us, and what you would like to continue the conversation about. That being said, a big thank you to the LaToken team, to Hasmik and Maria for making today's episode possible. Everyone have a wonderful day. We'll see you back here tomorrow with more VCTV. Take care.
Bye.
Bye,
Good
everybody.
night.
Bye.